Hello, my friends. This is Troy Stone King coming back to you again with another Facebook Live video. The topic of this video is you need to get comfortable with being terrible. You need to get comfortable with being terrible. So let's kind of just, let's tell a story. I got a couple stories for this one. When I was very, very young, so the title is when you need to get comfortable with being terrible. When I was very young, probably 5 or 6 years old, my mom and dad were amazing roller skaters. This is back in the day when roller skating was just the main thing that a lot of kids do. My mom and dad were amazing roller skaters. And when I was little, they took me a few times roller skating. I'm 5, I'm 6, I'm 7 years old. But I wasn't good at it. You know, it was parents holding your hands on both sides, making sure that you don't fall down. And you know, I did it a little bit, but not well. Not well. If they let go of me, I was as likely to fall as I was to continue to move forward on the roller skates. But when I was around 12 years old, when I was about 12 years old, what had been my elementary school in my small hometown became a skating rink. They opened up a skating rink in the basement of this building. It used to be my elementary school, but in the gym in the basement, they opened up a skating rink. And still, I'm 12, but I hadn't skated much, so I wasn't very good. In fact, they wrapped carpeting around the large columns on the outside of the gym so that people like me wouldn't die when they hit those columns at full speed. So yeah, I would right into carpeted columns many, many, many times in that particular building. And I was bad, so bad at roller skating. But I kept doing it because I saw other people around me who were better than me, who were more skilled than me. So I said, you know what? I'm going to keep going forward. I'm terrible at this, but I'm going to keep trying because I can see around me other people doing it. So I know it's possible to be a good roller skater. So I started to improve. And then I could go a little bit faster and a little bit faster. And after a couple of years, they took the skating rink that was in the basement, moved it upstairs into a large area, got a wooden floor and a lot more space. And I got much, much better there and a lot faster up there. And then my little sister, who is a couple of years younger than me, mastered the art of skating backwards. Now, two things here. One, I hadn't figured it out yet. And two, my little sister was wicked good at skating backwards. And I had a little bit of jealousy going on there. I'm skating forward really fast, but I can't skate backward at all. And my little sister, she's whipping around me with her backward skating. It was a little bit disconcerting. And guess what? I said, you know what? I'm terrible at backward. I'm great at forward. I'm terrible at backward. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start going backwards. And so I turned around to backwards. And you know what happened? Fell down. And I'm like moving my leg a little bit. Boom, fell down. And I'm trying to figure out, how do you go backwards? How do you propel yourself backwards on skating? Boom, fell down over and over and over. Eventually I got to the point though where I could go backwards, but only straight. So when I would come to a turn in the skating rink and boom, hit the wall because I didn't know how to turn going backwards. It was completely different than going forward on roller skates. Over time, though, I got the hang of going backward. Now I can skate backward and I can skate forward. The challenge? Transitioning between the two of them. So spinning around from backward to forward wasn't easy. Then I got the hang of that. And then I got the hang of jumping up in the air, spinning around and landing backwards. Or jumping up in the air, spinning around and landing forward. And then I got to the point where I could jump up in the air and don't try this at home. I could jump up in the air and go over several of my friends. I went from somebody who couldn't skate forward at all, running into those carpeted pillars, to someone who could not only skate backward and forward and go really fast and stop on a dime, but I could jump over people on roller skates. But first, I had to be comfortable with being terrible. I had to know that I'm going to be terrible for a while. And after I'm terrible for a while, and I keep trying and I keep trying and I keep trying, I can get better. Let me tell you another story. Our grandson, he crawls a lot. And he had this interesting 3-point crawl, like 2 hands and a leg, and he didn't really master. Hey, Sandy, thanks. I appreciate that. We really loved roller skating there in that small town. And sorry about the jealousy. And by the way, I haven't really lost it too much. I can still skate pretty well when I go. So our grandson had this kind of 3-point crawl thing going on with 2 hands and a leg. Never really mastered crawling like you would see with both legs and both hands. And he started trying to take a few steps here and there. And he would take 1 or 2 steps, and then he would be done. Or he would walk along a couch or something they could hold on to. That was last Thursday, 3 days ago. Today we're babysitting him. And the boy is just standing straight up and walking across the room. Is he still a little wobbly? Yes. Is he running? No. But can he stand up and walk? Absolutely. 3 days. 3 days. From hardly walking to walking without any great difficulty. He was terrible at walking. He really wasn't. He could go fast with a 3-point crawl, but he didn't crawl like everybody else. You know what? When you're doing something new, you may not do it like everybody else. And you may look at yourself, this is terrible. I'm really bad at this. That's okay. That's okay. You don't start out at something right at the expert level. You don't begin and immediately be professional. You've got to get comfortable being terrible. Let me tell you something. If I'm not comfortable being terrible at something, I'll never be good at it. When I started these videos, I'll tell you terrible. When I started these videos, and literally not even 2 weeks ago, when I started these videos, the first one I did in a group with a bunch of people who I knew would be very supportive, because frankly, I was a little bit nervous about releasing these videos to the whole wide world. So I put it in the group. And then you know what? I don't know how to get it out of the group. It's stuck in the group. The Facebook's technology doesn't allow you to easily take something out of a secret group and make it public. So what did I do? I decided, you know what? Don't care if I'm a little terrible. Going to send it right to the world. And started doing this live to everybody and set it to public. And if you watched my first few videos, you might have noticed something like when I would hold up a book, the words were backwards. Because I didn't know how to change Facebook videos so that the words would be forward. When I started doing these videos, I didn't have any idea how to save them to my local phone. I had to learn that. I wasn't good. Now you may be saying to yourself, you're still not good at this. I know, that's okay. But I'm learning and I'm getting better and I'm going to improve. Here's the point. I want you to think about something you'd like to do, something you'd like to accomplish, something new that you haven't done before, you've done very little of. And I want you to ask yourself, why haven't I gotten better at this? Maybe it's because you stopped trying. Because you're afraid of being terrible. You're afraid of your friends looking at you and going, wow, you're really bad at this. Or your family making fun of you. Or you're afraid of just the way that you will feel. Because it doesn't feel good to be bad at something and have people see that. I didn't enjoy how it looked when I was a young kid roller skating and running into these pillars. I didn't like that at all. Was I afraid of the pain? Yeah, it was a little painful. But I was more afraid of how I felt being embarrassed. But the greatest fear was this. The fear that my little sister would always be better than me. I didn't want that to happen. So what did I do? I accepted the fact that I was terrible. I got comfortable with being terrible. And then I kept moving forward. And eventually, I became good. And as Sandy said, she was a little jealous of that. You know what? Anybody can learn to do something well if you get comfortable being terrible first and keep moving forward. My friends, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video today. And if you've got comments on it, please drop in the comments. Also, if you've got ideas and suggestions for things you'd like me to talk about, drop them in the comments here or send me an email to live@troystoneking.com. But remember, you need to get comfortable being terrible so that you can eventually be great. Have a wonderful day.